Greetings all, Van here for Aries' weekend message. Aries, right away ahead of you is choices and opportunities to share yourself and delight in sharing with others. There is there's an inherent strength in the vulnerability that it takes to really express yourself and say when it is you need help. And I feel like that may have been a struggle for you in the past, as we have the King of Pentacles and Death in reverse, as well as the Seven of Wands and the Queen of Swords. There's been a very difficult time for Aries going on in the past here. And I feel like Spirit is giving this this windfall of energy and celebration, because for the Aries out there that were brave enough to be vulnerable, that are brave enough to share their pain, to share their weaknesses, and to share their fears with other people, there is the reward of a strengthened sense of resolve and security in yourself. Like, I'm not afraid to be vulnerable like this. Yes, I am still strong. That doesn't mean I don't have emotions that make me feel small. You are still strong with the ability to feel your emotions, with the ability to cry. It's not this thing where you're weak or you're a lesser of a man, lesser of a human, if you let yourself cry and process the emotions that are prevalent in every single person. People say, oh, women are too emotional. No, we just try to let ourselves feel our emotions, but even that gets suppressed to where we're not allowed to feel our emotions in certain situations or in certain places, and then it explodes, and then we become over emotional. It is not fair to deny and suppress and say that I cannot express this very human part of me. Emotions are energy in motion. And when energy is trapped, it becomes stagnant. And do you know what grows in stagnant water? Bacteria, parasites, and toxicity. So Aries, there is the reason that the water must flow. There's a reason that animals habitually will not drink from still water, because that is toxic. It's truly poisonous to them to drink from something like that, because insects could have laid their eggs in it or left a disease or a mucus that could make them sick, and it had nowhere to go because it was trapped. Emotions, like water, must flow, and that means, yes, when you are angry, you get it out in a safe way that is not going to hurt someone. When you feel upset, express that you feel upset. Cry if you must. We have the sword coming in for you. It feels like there has been a light and dark change going on in Aries, where everything had been one way of thinking, one way of approaching it. There was only one answer, and that was a very dark and stormy time of your life. And when you just allow yourself to let go of what no longer serves you, what does not make you happy, and what must be expressed, you find that darkness falls away, leaving room for the light to pierce through, because it could not have gotten through all of that thick heaviness that was chosen to be focused on or chosen to stay in the environment. There has to be the release. Thank you, Spirit. We have the storm. I would agree with this, that there has been quite this storm of emotions going on, and I feel like this has gone to a global scale. Like, each individual person is going through this battle, going through this storm of, what am I doing with my life? What am I wanting with my life? Am I doing the right thing for myself and for my family? And because this has been the entire individual collective's mindset, it has amplified into being the world's mindset. What am I doing to protect myself? What am I doing to protect my family? And when we constantly see things that are at odds or create opposition with what we believe it should look like, or what we believe home should feel like. That's why the Queen of Swords is in reverse. It's because what she believed her framework should look like had fallen away, because the entire world is changing. And frankly, it is a change that needs to happen, but change is uncomfortable and frightening. This is where people get afraid because they're losing their strength. They're losing that place where they had power or security, or at the very least knew what to expect. Because staying in the place that you had always been, at least you know what to do next. You know how to respond in a situation. But that is a mask, my love. It is not who you are. Look at the similarity between the mask and the sword. When you had to pretend everything was a certain way, the world was dark. It was frightening because you didn't know where you belonged, and you couldn't because you didn't even know yourself. You can't know where you're supposed to belong in this world or where you're supposed to be happy if you don't even know yourself. And when we were out in the world, we had to mask. Many of us still do. That was literally a joke that my mom and I made earlier today. Good job masking around the normies. Because you can't always go out and be your full authentic self 100% of the time, but you can be true to who you are and not go along with something simply because you are afraid of being alone or you are afraid of losing your power or stability. That's what I feel it is more like. You went along with something even if you knew in your soul it was not good for you. It was not good for the environment around you, or it actively made people's day worse in some other way, was horrible to someone else, but you benefited from it. You would continue to go along with this charade because you thought that that's how you were protecting yourself and your family from the storm, but it continued to weigh upon you. It continued to make you feel just less and less every single day, and there's only so long you can go in that energy before you submit to it and just fully give over to that darkness, fully give over to that side of the storm, or you decide that your life is worth the struggle of changing it. Your life is worth the struggle of figuring out where you can belong when you radiate in your beautiful authenticity, when you are just purely and uniquely you. And that has a lot of vulnerability with it, because when you determine that you are valuable enough for that, everything else falls away because you know it was not meant for you. You know that lifestyle is not going to make you happy, so you are no longer grieving the loss of what it was. And now there is the excitement of, what does my next journey hold for me? And promise me and yourself that you are worth it. And that promise to yourself that you are worth the struggle, the unknown, the imposter syndrome, the fear and sheer strength that it takes to go after your dream. Promise me and yourself right now that you are worth it, and that promise will carry you through all of the struggles, challenges that you will face when you decide that you want to know who you are. And that is a wonderful journey. And I'm very proud of you, Aries.